All right, we're live. Today I have an amazing person to introduce you to. Her name is Mais, aMAISing Mais. She's one of my coaches, master coaches. I believe 4 or 5 years ago, you've done your training with me. And
Yes.
here I am. I'm here to to kind of hear your story, or rather to remember your story, where you get to share your story with the world. So Mais, how are you? Where are you, by the way? Where are you right now?
I'm in Dubai and I'm doing great as always, thanks to Robert and many other things in my life. But I must always give you the credit. And this is genuine. This is from the heart. It's always good to see you. It's refreshing. So I'm super, super happy that I got this chance to also be on this call and see you, even though it's far away, but close in heart.
Mais, you already have the idea that I wanted to ask you to share your story, just to kind of tell us a little bit about, I don't know, you, or like who you were, or your life prior to meeting me, prior to our training, circumstances in life, quality of life, whatever. How was life, before the training?
I'll tell you one thing. I'm not, for people that are watching this and for you as well, to give it to you in a nutshell. My life was simply empty before the training. Even though I had everything any girl would want. I had opened up a business and I was successful, but I was empty on the inside. And after quitting that, because I was like, maybe I need to follow my passion. So I went into media. I became a presenter. I became quite known and a public figure. And yet I was still empty on the inside. Relationships, I didn't understand them. I didn't understand why women and men are so different. Why do I feel the way I feel? Why am I so confused? So I'm a curious kid since I was young, and these questions always kicked in. So about a year, I kept researching on Google. Why do we feel guilty? Why do we feel sad? Why do we feel empty? And every single time I would see Robert, every time I had research, why do I feel the way I feel? I see Robert. And I'm like, who's this guy? Like, I mean, does he have the answers to everything? And really, curiosity pulled me in, as in, if you can really give me the answers to the questions I've been asking myself for a lifetime, that nothing can fulfill me on the inside until I get these answers, then let me try it. Let me go ahead. So my intentions from day one, honestly, wasn't to become a life coach, but I knew that for me to get the answers, I needed to be there for the full training to become a life coach. That way I can get all my answers, as per the whole training module. I need to stay. And I still remember from day one, I said, I'm not giving up media, and I'm just here because I want my answers and I want to understand. And it was definitely something I didn't expect. It over exceeded my expectations, because not only I got answers, but I got a lot of clarity and I got a major breakthrough as well. Today I live the moment, and I really understand the meaning of it. This hashtag, I used to always say it. I used to always use it on my social media platforms. As a radio presenter, I go like, okay, live the moment, never understanding what it truly meant, being in the moment, being in the now, and understanding this incredible, or I could say amazing, get the pun, my name, brain of ours, where we can just, the minute you understand it, it's like driving a car. The minute you know how to drive it, it's on autopilot. But the minute you understand your brain and where emotions come from, and our filters and our programming and so on and so forth, but the minute you get all these answers and you understand how this machine of yours works, it's like, poof, where was I? Why didn't I know this before? How was I living? And it not only made me understand myself, but it made me understand the opposite sex. It made me understand how to love me before I can go ahead and allow other people to love me, or teach them how to love me, or open up my heart for people to love me. So there's so many, it was a roller coaster. And I was like, the minute it wasn't even on the last day of the training, and I still remember it was around the 7th day of the training. I went to Corinna and I said, where do I sign up for the masters? I didn't even finish my first training, and I said, where do I sign up for the masters? Apparently there's more answers there, even though I really got all the answers that I wanted. Today, I'm passionate about, I'm happy. Regardless whether I am working in my passion or not, life is passion for me. So it's a huge difference. I quit my I studied interior architecture, and I quit that because I didn't like it. It wasn't a passion of mine. Media is a passion of mine, but I was empty on the inside. Today, whether I do media, whether I present a show or I don't, I am alive. I am passionate because I understand what life is, and I understand what passion is, and I understand what it is to be alive. To let me put it this way. I got to know who Mais was, or Mais is actually. And me and Mais are besties right now. And I think I neglected myself and I neglected Mais for all these years. I could not sit with myself for more than 10 minutes. I always had to be on my phone or meeting with friends. Today, I proudly say I am a loner and I am my own best friend, and I enjoy the life out of it. I enjoy my own time with myself more than anything. Of course, I love my friends, but I know I'm blabbing a lot, but I told you in a nutshell. So,
You're doing great. Just tell me, I'm just curious.
Details.
Is that when this aMAISing happened, or were you aMAISing before this? I know you're running this hashtag now, aMAISing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So is that after that, or were you always aMAISing?
No, I was after the training, and I never came up with it till after the training. And I realized that it gave me purpose in my life. It gave me such a strong purpose, and it was unfair for me not to share this knowledge. And the more I share it, the more I keep learning. The more I coach, the more I'm being coached, because I get to hear myself and remind myself of all the amazing things that I learned. Because I really understood my own value. And when you value yourself and you understand your own true worth, which is thanks to your valuable information, it's different. Life is different. So it doesn't matter where you live. A lot of people today have this excuses. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you live in Dubai or you live in Serbia, or what do you got to worry about? We live in a war zone. It's definitely not the environment that's outside of you. It really is the environment inside of you. And I think as much as people preach that, until you practice it and really understand it, or at least open the door of the environment inside of you, which you can only know by learning the process out. There's steps and learnings. Like I mentioned before, learning how to drive a car, learning how to fly a plane. You need to learn how to do these things. And you need to learn how to control the environment within you. So I guess once you learn that, it makes it amazing. And hence the hashtag.
Becomes effortless.
Yeah, today I feel like I truly found my purpose in life. And I'm happy about that. Thank you.
You know what I'm becoming aware of in the background? Usually, I don't know, usually I'm on the stage, usually I'm the one speaking the most, you know. This is kind of new for me. I'm just sitting here enjoying the view and enjoying the stories, because it's like your story, if you know what I mean. It's really different for me to just be here and, like, you know, listen. It's awesome. Now it's amazing. So tell me, Mais, speaking of environment, I'm just curious because I have a couple of agendas in my mind that I wanted to ask you. If I could bring you back into the room itself, you know, in the training room, how did you find the environment there? I'm just curious in terms of relationships with, I don't know, other students, and I'm just like curious, how did you find that back then, being in that room?
Being in that room, I mean, I'm gonna say the first day, obviously, for everyone, it's the awkwardness, not knowing anyone. Are they there to share their problems? What am I doing here? But you made it easy, Robert. You made it easy from the first, I think, 20 minutes of being in the training room. And this is really, it's a truth. It's not a compliment. The icebreakers you chose to do, the way we got to know each other as individuals. And I don't want to spoil it by telling the people how, so I'm just going to let it be. But I'll just tell you that he really broke the ice the first 20 minutes of the room, and we became family. It was really hard to leave that room. That room was a room when we entered, but 20 minutes later, it wasn't a room anymore. It became a bubble. It became a spiritual camp. It became whatever people relate to. I mean, for me, it was cloud nine. I wasn't even, I was completely detached from reality that I lived in, or the stress outside the room. Of course, it's so much easier when you're locked in a certain environment that's super empowering and healthy and igniting and it just recharges you, and you stay in that environment without having anything toxic enter. And I know that there was, even though we were talking about problems, even though we were tackling them, but there was zero toxicity in that room. It was just love, compassion, and most importantly, it was transparency. Everybody got to be themselves. Nobody was trying to impress anybody, and nobody was putting effort into trying to get anybody's attention, or so it was just real. Let me put it this way, it was real, and real is very rare to find these days.
Beautiful, awesome. And are you I mean, 5 years later, are you at all in touch with any of your teammates, or what do we call them, other students from your training?
Of course, we immediately, I think from the third day, we made a group on WhatsApp. And as much as a lot of people hate groups on WhatsApp, but that's one group we don't hate. And not only that, training, it's because it's quite addictive, and a lot of us come back for refreshers only because we like the environment of that room. We get to meet new people with like mindsets, or mindsets that are alike. So I'm actually in 4 of your groups, or not yours, but like from your training rooms. From
I'm not in them.
Yeah, you're not in them, but they're really, it's great because you hear, it's one of those groups that share strong messages. We always check up on each other. We try to keep in touch. We help each other as coaches, most importantly. So we see if any coach needs help, if someone is dealing with a certain client that they might have forgotten a thing or two, that you have a community of coaches that will always be there for you no matter what. So you might have entered that room alone, but when you leave as a coach, definitely we didn't leave alone. We left as a family, as a community. And I think today, I don't know, I mean, each group has like 40, 45 people. So I might have like about 100 coaches on my phone in different countries, of course, not all in Dubai. So it makes it amazing. Amazing. I'm going to ruin this spelling for everyone. And yeah, so today when somebody gets in touch with me, says, do you know a coach in Kuwait or Lebanon or States or Australia? I say, yeah, we got them all. We're a community. And it's great. I love that. So yeah, definitely, we're all in touch.
Look, the way you speak about that room, or what happens in that room, I often get asked things like, "Hey, no, not in those words, but I'm chunking it into one easy sentence. It's like, what's your secret? Like, how did you get here? How did you get to be this guy? And one of my best ways to say it is I never left the room. I always stayed in this room, where some people would go from one book to the next one, or one transformative or somewhat transformative experience to the next one, and then they go back home. They go back to the old environment where old environment is there and nothing really changes, because environment still has a major big impact on all of us. And I kind of made this work my environment, if that makes sense. So every once in a while I'm in another country, another city, with another group of people doing this thing in a room, training room. So for me, it's like I never left the room, because I'm always in this conversation. I never left this conversation, and my environment is people like you. So it's easy for me to stay in this mode and live this life, or should I say, get to this level of quality of life so quickly, because of that, because I made it my environment. And I think it's a huge thing for everybody. Cool. So Mais, okay, so you've been through your stuff in the past, and then you've been through this amazing training, as you say, and now you're mentioning clients and coaching. So tell me a little bit about that. When you coach other person, when you coach other clients, what kind of stuff do you coach them for? What kind of stuff they come to you with? What are you capable of helping them overcome? I'm just curious, because my coaches take this knowledge and this same skill set and principles that they get to learn, and I've seen them doing business coaching, kids coaching. There's a million different ways of kind of positioning themselves, or what different niche they go into with the same skill set. It's just amazing of how many ways this can be applied. And I'm always curious, what do you do? What's your ideal client kind of thing? What kind of people you work with or enjoy working with the most? What kind of stuff is that?
Ideally for me, just like you mentioned, with the same skill set, you can do everything. And I'm the kind of person that ideally I do not enjoy routine. So, and I love coaching, so I coach everyone and anyone. I've done a lot of corporate training, so that's a business side where we do releasing stress. For example, a training for Louis Vuitton and Prada, Chopard, the 3 luxury brands. We've done similar trainings of how to work in a stressful environment or how to deal with stress in the environment that they work in, which is a very stressful environment because they're always working, overworked, working hours. So I've done a lot of those corporate trainings with the same skill set that you've mentioned. I've also dealt with one-to-one clients, and they vary from problems. So it can go from serious traumas. I've had serious traumas, I would say at least serious in my point of view. Maybe for someone else it might not be, but it could be somewhere around rape, suicide. So a lot of people mistaken as in like, wouldn't you need to go to a psychiatrist for that? But a lot of these clients came to me, and today I proudly say they are living their life to their fullest. They are happy, grateful, and that is something money cannot buy. When someone hits rock bottom and you are able to guide them, for them to do the change, it is just like, wow. I mean, I have that skill where I can teach you how to change your life, and you do the change. You go ahead and change your life, and you shift it by learning that learning. Of course, I would share with everyone, kids, companies, suicidal people, non-suicidal. There's a lot of people that do not have problems. Like me, they were curious. They felt empty. They want answers. They want to, or maybe just excel and grow and understand themselves better. So I have a lot of those clients as well. Hence the reason today I provide many services, and I really try to send my message online on social media platforms. I did not stop my media. However, now my media is only directed to coaching. As in anything I speak about the mind, I speak about message. If I could say something that can go viral, or I can use my power in media, which, by the way, speaking of, I need to mention something super important. I was on 3 major TV stations, radio as well, big programs, and I had a decent following base. However, when I decided to shift my media, social media at least, to purely coaching messages, I jumped from 25,000 followers in the span of a year, 2 or 3, not overnight, to 100,000 followers today, or 101 maybe. Over what? Over people following coaching advice or guidance in that say. I wouldn't say advice because we don't advise people. We guide them with the knowledge. So guidance on our social media platforms, it shows you that people really are more interested not in a TV presenter, but in somebody that has something valuable to say. And I am taking full advantage, I must say, by sending this message all over my social media platforms. And every day I try to come up with a new idea where I do sessions online, especially during the COVID period. Everybody's connected online, so we never disconnected. Even team building, we've done it online for corporate trainings. Children that felt, because their life also changed from extremely active to being at home. So I think I'm pretty much coaching everyone, Robert. I must say, I'm not holding back. I'm giving my all.
Look, isn't it amazing that regardless of who the audience is, or should I say, regardless of what context of coaching you pick, from business to to anything else, that you actually don't need to be the best businessman in the world in order to do business coaching, or should I say, the best in relationships at home in order to help somebody, create a magnificent relationships. And for me, people don't get that. I think people often go to a life coach thinking, hey, I need an advice, tell me what to do, kind of thing. Where I think you'd agree, I discovered this long ago, telling people what to do doesn't work. It simply doesn't work. And yet everybody's looking for advice how to do something. I think our modality of coaching is so special in a way that it really applies to everyone, because what we usually do, what we talk about is nature. It's the way we built, and utilizing those systems in a way they were designed to be used, rather than us jamming them with all our misunderstandings, really. So it always rocks my boat, knowing that I don't need to have an advice in every context of life in order to help somebody in any context of life. I just need to point out to their nature. And of course, with most people, we still actually do some transformative work, like helping them overcome all sorts of burdens, let's call them that for now. And once that's out of the way, they transform themselves. They just open their eyes and see the world differently. And that's where the problems disappear, kind of thing, right? So I'm kind of pointing out that you're saying I do all these things, and I'm like, I think it's fair for people to hear that doesn't mean that you gave them advice and they just changed, because
Definitely.
telling people what doesn't really work. Doesn't really work like that.
And that's why I mentioned guidance is very different than advice. Guiding them is in teaching them. Once you learn tools, or teaching people tools of how they can overcome their own problems, and they can become their own life coach by understanding how to solve their own problem, it's a breakthrough right there. And that's why it can work on absolutely anyone and everyone. A lot of people, yes, from the coaches that I know, have one shifted to business, one shifted to children. But like I said, I'm hungry. And if I can take them all, I'll take them all.
let me throw you a curveball. Tell me something. In terms of your confidence as a coach, is there a case that you think I wouldn't do that? As in, I'm not competent to deal with this kind of thing. Is there anything that you go, oh, that's over my head? Not in terms of your preferences. Maybe there's a client situation that you just don't want to work with those kinds of clients or people in those with those conditions or whatever. But I'm just like, in terms of your confidence, how competent do you feel that you could open your door right now to just about anyone that walks in with any presenting problem? You know what I mean? Like what's your confidence level in terms of your ability to coach and help others, like by default, if you know what I mean?
I'll be honest with you. My first year of coaching, I was a little hesitant because they were new, as in if someone was suicidal, and I'm like, I don't know about that one. Even though I knew very well that I was trained to know that a problem is a problem regardless what it is. At the beginning, and I think that's a mistake most coaches do. But I did open my door, and when I realized that, oh wait, they did change, it works, I think that's what gave me a bit more confidence. But it was a mistake that I did, but that's why I'm being honest with you. Today, my confidence, especially after seeing many clients and seeing many cases that have shifted 180 degrees, and I don't even know if there's even a different kind of mathematical equation to that, because like 180 is even too small, you know. I think it's another universe of change. That's how big their change was. I think today, yeah, my door's open. Bring it on, you know, whatever you have. I am 100% confident. If they want to make the change, I can show them how. It's as simple as that, regardless.
I was going to say I'm speechless, and I was going to say it's music to my ears, so I don't know which one is it. It must be amazing. It's really, because I obviously wish, like you can imagine from my point of view, let's say your group of new coaches that came out of that class, yeah? Different people, different backgrounds. We had doctors, we had CEOs, we had housewives, we had some youngsters in the room. It's like all those different backgrounds, different learnings, different experiences of life, and different education. They all kind of fit in, and it's the same training somehow for everyone. And yet I know that based on their past conditioning, they'll walk away with different things from the training, if you know what I mean. So hence why some end up doing this, some end up doing something different in terms of different context of coaching. And yet some people actually don't even do coaching after that. They go, hey, I discovered my passion. I get to be me. Yeah. And they start that instead or whatever. It's amazing. So for me, it's always like crazy to never be able to know what you're going to do from the training, if you know what I mean. I can't say, hey, here's this batch of coaches, they're going to do this. There's no telling, really. There's no telling. You could be doing coaching for a year and then discover that, I don't know, you want to do something different or similar or whatever. So I even lost track when people say, hey, how many of you coaches are successful coaches? I was like, how do I know? Like, so many come to become a coach, then they change their mind during the training. Or some people came just for themselves. You know, that happens very often in my training. They come because, you know, whatever the motivation is, either they want to check things out, or somebody just can't afford my coaching fees. So they're, hey, I'll go and spend 10 days with a guy in a group context, so I'll take what I can. And those guys who looked kind of for self-development, they never even looked for to become a coach, you know, that wasn't the thing. And yet during the training, well, two things happen really. They witness their own transformation, which transforms them. It changes the way they perceive the world, to say the least. But at the same time, during the training, because of the exercises we do with real clients, you know, I'll do a demo with a real client, but then you guys will do exercises with each other, meaning with other real people, right? When they go through that process and help somebody else change something so meaningful and deep for that person, it tends to change them, and they want to, like, oh, I can't keep this for myself. I want to become a coach, you know. So it's always funny for me to observe all those little dynamics of people who didn't even want to become a coach suddenly have this major passion to do so. With your parents who are saying, I'm not going to coach others, but I'm going to like be a very different parent. Like, my kid may need some confidence boost one day, or this or that. Just understanding all those things and how we can raise our children differently is I think, priceless on its own. So all those different dynamics, it's super hard for me to keep track. So I don't, you know, I finish with the training, life carries on, and then mostly people who stay with me in the RSCI Master Class, you know, the membership program that I have. Yeah. I'm with them once a week on the live call. So, you know, it's super intimate. It stays that way. Where for most others, I have no clue unless they somehow stay in my life. Like you mentioned, they come for a refresher, or they come and say hello here, you know, here and there in Dubai, but I'm there. So it's very hard to keep track, and it's beautiful for me to pretend that I know your stories when, in fact, on a call like this, I get to hear details I never heard before. It's just beautiful. Awesome. So Mais, that's obviously all fantastic. What's in your future though? How do you see your life ahead?
My future, well, the future is now. There is no future. Every day is the now. The future is now. You'll get there. You'll get there. But yeah. Okay. So where do I see myself now, which is technically in the future? Listen, I am growing every day, and I'm very happy with my goals of success. I'm achieving every goal that I place. And I think that all the goals that I've set myself in the next year or two or month or day, I'm almost certain that I'm going to achieve them because my mind is set to it. So if I were to see myself where I would like to be specifically, and if you do end up watching this video, I don't know, 2 years or 3 years down the line, I might be there already. So just so you know, you might be watching this a bit too late. I might be there.
Let's do another video like 5 years later.
I'll do another video in 3 years, yeah, and tell you, you know, or 2 years. I actually think it's a bit less. I'm really pushing it when I say 2 years, but I think I'm gonna have quite a successul, at least successful in my head, my measure of success, or my idea of
kind of quite successful already.
Yeah, I am. But then again, people measure success the way they like, as in a private jet means successful. Some people renting a car means successful. So I don't know what scale they think success is. So for me, today I am successful, and in a year or two, even more, definitely, in terms of having my own show online or TV, but TV is online. So in 2 years, I highly doubt there's going to be TV. It's going to be online, like Netflix or Stars Play. An international, well-known show, coaching, definitely about coaching. And it's going to be sending a very strong message with a very high number of sales on my online store. My online store, if you're watching this, it's basically pre-recorded sessions that I would tend to do my clients with their eyes closed. So technically, I don't physically need to be there. So my voice is enough to guide them. And already it's doing fantastic. And I know in 2 years, I think it will be just an ongoing machine for me. Plus the show, plus I would like to own a private jet, but like I don't mind renting one in 2 years. We'll see how that goes. Listen, it's the fact that my time is for me, and I think that's freedom on its own. In the future, I'll have even more time for me and even more knowledge to spread, because every day I'm learning something new, thanks to the clients that I see, and thanks to obviously the books that I read, and thanks to the videos that I watch that you also place on your YouTube channel. So yeah, I'm happy with my website, my store, and I think it's going to reach a lot more people in the next 2 years, and it's going to go a lot more viral than it is today.
Beautiful. Also, obviously, seen your website. What's the website address? MAISMohammed.com?
Yes, the website is www. Huh?
Yeah, go for it. www. Because look, mate, in my mind, look, let me actually say it this way. I obviously find you super inspiring. I'm thrilled to be a part of your world. It's humbling. It's warm. It's inspiring. It really is. It's amazing. Oh, by the way, it looks like your camera froze. Are you there? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but your camera paused actually.
Okay, then it's just a cyber issue. I hope it comes back, because your face is frozen right now. So
yeah, I'm like sending words. Should I turn my video on?
Let's hope it comes back. I was saying that I find you quite inspiring, and I was saying that maybe, I don't know who's going to watch this eventually, if they are thinking reaching out to you as a coach, or perhaps to check your online store and get your some of your recorded courses and things like that. You know, I was like, hey, share your website and let's see if that helps.
It's www.maismohammed.com. Mais is an M-A-I-S, and Mohammed is M-O-H-A-M-M-E-D. Anyway, if you Google my name, E-D. But if you Google Mais Mohammed, you're gonna see this face. I love Google because it kind of puts me everywhere. I mean, like, I like the fact. Did you ever Google your name? I mean, you don't need to Google your name because you're like the big G. You and the big G are friends. So like, we're gonna put you aside. But for the just the normal people that don't usually Google their names, I used to Google my name, and I'm like, who are these people? Like, it's not me. And today, when I Google my name, it's mainly my pictures. It's really mainly my pictures, and it wasn't paid. I didn't pay Google anything for that. It's my pictures, and the majority, obviously, there's other people with the same name. But yeah, so if you Google me, you're probably going to see this face, smiling all the time. So you can see the website there, maismohammed.com, and you can see the amazing store that I have there and all the services that I provide, as well as the online course. The online course is a little mini breakthrough. That's a pre-recorded course as well. So that's video. That's the only video course there. There's video online sessions that are live, and the rest is quick fix. Fix whatever you have quickly.
So listen, given the time, I think we gotta bring it to the end, and I just wanted to. I have one more question for you, and then I want to close it with something that came up while you were telling me about how your social media account went skyrocket from the moment you switched into coaching. So I'm going to close it with that. But you go first. Tell me if you have any message for people who are considering entering this industry, going into life coaching, perhaps even considering my training for something like that. Do you have any message for them? I don't know.
It is the best investment you can make in yourself. That is number one. Some people are a bit hesitant. Do I want to? It's so commercial. Everybody's becoming a life coach these days. It's not about the names or the commercial names that you're seeing. It really is an experience that the money cannot buy. Every time I think about it, I said, it's too cheap, and there's not enough money that can pay you back for all the breakthroughs that you're going to get in that room and all the knowledge that you're going to get in that room. And I think whether you want to become a life coach or you don't, it's a must that you learn this, because that's when you'll realize that, I woke up, I can see now, I can live. So yeah, the training is super important. And if some people are not comfortable in training, they want an individual, and I want my time and my time only, sure, you can always go to a coach. Robert is here, I'm here, many other coaches are here, recommended only Robert's coaches. Not all coaches are the same, so like different schools, different learnings, because I get a lot of clients coming from other coaches, so different learnings, I'm just saying. Yes, but if you want to join the Robert tribe and community, I must say you're going to be opening, you're walking into a family. So it's very different than having a one-to-one with a coach. It's personal. However, going into a training room with Robert is you're not only changing, but you're going into a whole new world, meeting new people, and these people are going to be your family. And the first one is going to be me. Because I'm always there anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Mais tends to pop in every time I'm in town, and then if it's possible, she comes and says hello, which is always precious. Mais, you mentioned that your social account went skyrocketed from the moment you switched into, you said coaching in terms of topics, and again, not giving advice, but rather, I guess, sharing some useful messages, sharing some deep thoughts sometimes, sharing things that ought to either get people to stop and think about their life a bit, good quality questions, we call them sometimes, or in general, some hopeful content, something that's positive, that's quite kind of lacking in nowadays media, right? So that prompted my mind to say something that I also learned technically, scientifically. You know, there's so much of relationship with our memories and our emotions, as you know. So the idea is that people don't remember you by your name. People remember you by the way they feel around you. So if you're doing what you're doing, contributing in other people's lives, because for me, social is like, you're not charging for it. You're actually just contributing, hopefully hoping to reach a bunch of people. And so many of them can never afford you, as far as I know. But it doesn't matter, because you're building what I call the goodwill account, and you're just contributing because it fulfills you doing it, right? So in that process, we get to touch so many people's lives, and we'll never even know, if you know what I mean. And yet they tend to feel good, they tend to feel better when you are in their feed or when you are in their world, and they remember you because of how they feel when you show up, you know? So remember that. People remember you not by your name, they remember you by how they feel around you. I was gonna say by the way you make them feel, but I know you would call me on it. So I changed it into how they feel when you are around.
Good one.
You can't make people feel anything, right? They can only
100%.
their thinking. Mais, thank you so much for your time. I'm really grateful to begin with, but humbled as well at the same time, because as you know, one of my not so secret passions in life is, you know, transforming the world and empowering the world and healing the world and ending all this unnecessary suffering, which is really unnecessary. And it's one thing touching one life at a time, or one group of coaches at a time. But what really gets my boat going is knowing that you guys are continuing this work and seeing other people. I don't care if it's just one person, but if you pass that torch, if you touch someone else's life, although you've done all the work, or should we say your client did all the work with your help, little me insights as well. I played some role in all of that, you know, in terms of course. So it really humbles me knowing that you guys are active, you guys are seeing clients, touching people's lives, and most importantly, you're doing it out of passion. You are like fulfilled, energized, you know, you're just shining, which is really amazing to see you guys in this light. And I'm talking about what, 4 or 5 years later after your training. You know, it's not like you finish your training and then you're all motivated, you know, and it's amazing for like 2 weeks, and then back to the old, you know. It speaks volumes, I think, for itself when we get to see that you guys kept the change and you guys just keep rocking it. It's beautiful. It's really humbling. So thank you for your time. Thank you for choosing to be the person that you are today. Amazing. For choosing to be amazing, and it really makes, well, my life, certainly my world, even more beautiful, and I'm sure it does that for your environment too and people in it.
Yeah.
Mais, stay in touch. I mean, you know how to reach me, so stay in touch and stay in touch with your heart, you know.
For sure. For
with
sure.
the beating heart of yours.
For
all
sure.
Right.
Speak soonest.
The soonest. Take care. I'm gonna end the recording real quick.